If you feel that Radio Pulpit is not living up to that code, we encourage you to direct your complaint in writing to the Broadcasting Complaints Commission of South Africa, PO Box 412 365, Craig Hall 2024, or send a fax to 011 787 0280. Or email to bccsa@nabsa.co.za. The Broadcasting Complaints Commission is also obtainable on their website, www.bccsa.co.za. Radio Pulpit, your daily companion.
One vision, one voice, one message. Radio Pulpit 657 AM and 729 Cape Pulpit. Impacting lives from Gauteng to the Cape.
You are listening to Radio Pulpit, your daily companion, 657 AM. This is where you at. It's just for you, with you, up until 11 o'clock with Miss Wangile Mofokeng. And I gave you the sound of Kolim Twango Ungugu Pila. You are live to me. And that's how I came out from our talk with Apostle I.N.C. Tole. And the lessons learned as he was starting out in ministry. And I hope that family has been inspired, especially if you have been called into ministry and you know that the Lord wants you to start a ministry or to start ministering to his people. Now, I'm just about to be talking to the CEO and founder of Hair Spa, and her name is Angela Joseph Peters. She's on the other side. She's not alone. She came together. She came complete. My queen, how are you?
Hello. I'm so excited to be here today.
Yeah.
Hello. How are you?
I am blessed of the Lord. Welcome.
Thank you so much. Thank you
You are
for
both on
having
Facebook.
me. Thank you for
If you
having
didn't know, you are both on Facebook.
Surprise.
Surprise.
So you're not coming alone. You're coming with Mr. Peters today, Joseph Peters.
Yes.
How are you, sir?
I am good. Yourself?
I am good. And so you took off the ship today.
Yes, I am off the ship for a little bit.
How long is little bit?
A month and a half.
A month and a half. Wow, that's awesome. So you're on break for a month and a half, and at least you're home.
I am on break, yes. So I'm her personal driver these days.
And a personal camera person.
Oh, yes.
Everything. Welcome. Thank you so much for honoring our invite and being with us today. There are so many opportunities out there. Our young people have just finished, some have finished tertiary, some have just finished high school, but we always taught finish high school and go work for someone, or go to tertiary, study and then go work for someone.
Yes.
And I know that with you went to study, and afterwards you did something else, because opportunities are many. The sky is the limit. Tell us a little bit about that.
Okay. My journey started, let's start right from the beginning. I went to Tiger Kloof High School.
Yeah.
And from the get-go, like, one thing about me, everything I have prayed for.
Wow.
And God has answered from the
Even him?
Even him. From the beginning, from high school.
Yeah.
I remember when I went to my high school, I prayed like so many times to get in. I was rejected 3 times before they
Where? To
accepted
get
me.
in where?
To my high school.
Yes.
Because I went to high school during almost the last term.
Mm-hmm.
It was close towards the end of the term.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just God that they accepted me. I even fasted to be in that school.
And it's
I had to
unlikely.
be in that school. It's unlikely. So the first time I went, my parents were even shocked, because they were like, please just look for another option. And I'm
Yes.
like, this is the school I need to be in.
Yes.
And from the beginning, I knew why I needed to be there, because that's where I got to have a relationship with God. And that's where I learned to, pray and trust in the Lord for my future, because every single
But
thing...
at least you knew how to pray before you had that relationship.
Yes, oh yes. He's an answered prayer.
It was a work of faith.
Yeah, it was a work of faith.
Yes, it's
And
an
then-
answered prayer. So from there, I went to, I finished my high school.
Yes.
Then I went to tertiary.
Yes.
And I studied beauty. I did that for 3 years. And then from there, I got an opportunity to
Somatology?
Yes, I studied
right.
somatology for 3 years, and then I got an opportunity to work abroad cruise ships, and that's where I met my husband.
Yeah.
That's where we met.
And that's where we met.
I would like to know how you got into cruise ship. And I think Mr. Joseph Peters should also share how he got into cruise ships. Let's start with you, Angela.
Okay, for me, it was something that I've always wanted.
Really?
And
When you were doing somatology,
yes,
you knew
so
about this
fortunate
opportunity.
for me, I had my school had like they connected us with the agency, and then that's where I did my interview.
Oh, wow.
And then from there, I got selected, and then I worked for a company called Steiner, and now it's called the Onboard Spa. And I went for training, then I got placed. And on my first contract, which was 2015,
2015.
yeah, 2015, we met on the ship called the Amsterdam, Holland America Amsterdam, and that's where I started my first contract. So for me,
That's where we met.
that's where we met, but I didn't know he was going to be my husband.
At that
Like I was
time.
praying for this man for 15 years. Can you imagine? 15 years praying for him, and I didn't know I was going to meet him on a ship.
Yeah.
But God is good. I'm
How
grateful.
did you become on ships, Mr. Josephs?
So I grew up in Canada, went to school and grew up in Canada since
Yeah.
the age of 2.
Yeah.
And for us, actually, working on a cruise ship as a Canadian, it's not so popular.
Yeah,
because
so it was
we're-
like, huh?
we are used to working 40 hours a week, no more than that. Anything above 40 hours is overtime, in Canada. So let's just say we're not very popular
I
on
think they're
cruise ships.
spoiled in Canada.
A regular work week on a cruise ship is about 70 to 80 hours minimum.
You.
Yeah, so I uploaded my resume to a website called hcareers.com, and through there you get headhunters and so on. So I got a call through an agency from Vancouver, and that's normally where the cruise ships dock for Canada. So I thought it was a scam at first. When I got a call, I said, "Is this the real?"
Yeah.
And after I got the call, I said, "Okay, since the opportunity doesn't come around that much," I said, "Okay, I'm definitely going to take it." And so I go through the interview stages, go through with HR, and I think when I was doing my medical, I said, "Okay, this is it. It's not a game." So I joined then 2012. As a chef de partie position, which is like a mid-management position.
Did you
and
have to
it's,
study
I-
being a
I-
chef
I
first? Were you
did,
a chef first before you were a chef on
go
the
to
ship?
school for food and beverage management,
Ah,
and I
okay.
did that for a year, and then I realized I need to go back to the kitchen.
Yeah.
But it was mostly experience on the job. So I've been over 20 years
Working
yeah.
on the ship.
Well,
Wow.
12 years on the ship. It's coming up to 13 years,
Yeah.
and had to work my way up, but it's definitely paying off now.
So, what kind of studies should one take to be or to work on the ship?
You definitely want some sort of a basic culinary course. So nowadays you can do a 1-year or 2-year program. So just that you grasp the theory.
That is for those who'd want to
chef,
work in the
yeah.
kitchen.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
work as
every
a chef.
department has like a different agency. Like for us, we had an agency called the Onboard Spa, and with them you have to have a qualification on your beauty if you want to become like a beauty
So you
therapist.
can't from high school straight.
No, and you can depending on which job you apply for.
Okay,
But
alright.
for my industry, you definitely need to have like some sort of qualification.
They are going to look for some sort of a basic.
So, which qualifications besides chef and somatology?
There's a lot of jobs on the ship.
Yes.
Like a ship is like a floating hotel. So anything you can imagine that you can
anything
work.
in hospitality.
Yeah.
Anything in finance.
Like marketing.
Anything we have onboard marketing positions. Anything in finance. Anything in hospitality. like I said.
Finance?
Yes, anything.
So we have hotel
Even
presser.
nurses, doctors, like anything you can think of.
It's a floating city. with-
Engineering.
Yes.
Like there's a whole lot of jobs on ships, and it would be so nice that people should know more about it because they're always recruiting, they're always looking for people.
The industry is really, really growing.
Now, how
also.
do you make sure that this is not a scam? Because you thought it was a scam.
Well,
you went
no.
through school, so it was different.
I think the best way is to go through an agency or to apply directly with the cruise line.
I would say directly because the companies will never make you pay. That's a good indication.
Yeah, because
the
I had
companies-
to pay because I went through an agency.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so if you were to get interviewed directly from a company, they will never ask you for any fees or anything. So that's a
Yeah.
good way to tell.
So if I am from high school, what kind of jobs can I get on the
So
ship?
we have positions that work with the youth on board as
Mm-hmm.
well. So youth program,
Like children.
like coordinator, things like this.
Au pair kind of
No,
services?
more like taking care of kids, but they call it youth program.
Yeah,
Yeah.
kids club.
Yeah,
Activities.
you
and
can
things
do
like that.
that. You can apply for young people. I would say that any job that interests you that can be in the hotel industry. So think about hotel industry and anything that you're interested in that
You
industry.
can get a job in housekeeping.
Yeah.
You can get a job in the restaurant as wait staff just to start off. You can get a job as an assistant cook.
Sure.
There's a lot of
There are a lot of opportunities.
Yeah.
But now, why do you think it's hidden from, especially in South Africa? I'm not quite sure about in Canada, but in South Africa, most of us are not aware of it.
You're going to see more exposure definitely in the future because the industry is growing at a very, very
It
fast
has been
pace.
hidden for years.
Yeah, it should. I mean,
Yeah.
it needs to
In
open
actual
up.
fact, when you tell your parents, I'm going to work, I want to do this, they're like, huh?
they're
Oh, no.
shocked.
Yeah. What was your experience? with your
Yeah, when
parents?
I told actually, fortunately for me, my parents were the ones who said, "Why don't you do this?" I'm lucky enough to have supportive parents who pushed me, and they were like, "Listen, why don't you do?" And I was so scared. And I remember my mother took me out to a seafood restaurant and said, "I don't want you to embarrass me out there. You need to eat some prawns and some seafood because you're going to work overseas." So yeah, I'm
So she
grateful.
took you on your first experience with you.
So I think they believed it when I was at the airport, actually.
Did they think it was a scam as well?
No, just to get up and say I'm leaving,
Yeah.
it's not so normal there, but they definitely believed it after I was gone for 6 months, and they see that it's more of a career, especially being a chef.
Yeah.
My background is Sri Lankan.
Yeah.
So back home in Asia, being a chef it's not a very glamorous career. It's
Really?
definitely, it's definitely on the.
So you are
on the-
one of a kind.
Well, growing up in North America, it's a
Yes.
different story. But for for our heritage
In
and our
Sri
culture
Lanka,
to
yeah.
accept it as a mainstream culture or a mainstream career, it's a different thing. So it took them some time to.
But I think
grasp
now,
onto it.
yeah.
They definitely see it now.
Yeah.
It's a favored profession now.
And you spoke about medicals. What are medicals?
So medicals is something that you need to do every 2 years. It depends actually where you're
It's
from.
a requirement.
Sometimes you need to do it yearly, so you have to do a full medical to make sure that you're fit to work at sea.
Is it a prerequisite?
It
It's
is.
a prerequisite,
It is. It's
and the most
mandatory.
important thing with the ship medical, it's not the same as going to your doctor. So normally they'll say there's assigned people that have to assign doctors in the whole country. So in South Africa, there's 3 doctors who only do these medicals. If you can't pass these medicals, you cannot work on cruise ships.
So no favors.
It's
Yeah.
not like going to tertiary where you have that doctor who
No,
checks
you
on
have
you
to
quickly.
get a verified ship doctor.
So
for
what do
you to-
you do on these medicals?
It's just basic
It's
full
it's like a
checkup.
basic full checkup. They check everything from your
Your
blood tests,
blood.
cholesterol levels. They do a fit test if you're physically fit. They do an eye test. They do a hearing
All
test.
kinds of tests.
And they make sure that
Yeah.
you're fit to work at sea for 6 to 8
So
months.
there are people who won't be fit to work at sea.
Yeah,
There are
for sure.
people who won't be fit to
For
work.
example?
The companies, they finance your travels. So from home to the ship and back home, they pay for your flights.
Yeah.
They pay for a lot of things for your travels and to hire you. So they want to make sure that when you come on board, they don't run into problems.
Yeah, but also high risk
Yes.
illnesses, like something that is chronic. If you're taking chronic medication,
Like
you're more likely not.
blood pressure?
For example, high.
Yes, high blood pressure.
No, not
Yeah,
really.
cardiovascular.
But like cancer, autoimmune disease, you can't work there if you have, for example, those illnesses. Unfortunately, because the thing is, At sea, we don't have a hospital, so they limit this because of they only have like limited healthcare. I think that's why they do
Yeah,
that.
because if you do have some chronics, you have to see your doctor at least every 3 months.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you can't, and one of the things, you can't also go there when you're pregnant because anything can happen.
What if you fall pregnant on the boat?
Well, it has happened.
get
We've
sent
seen
home.
those cases.
Yeah.
You get sent home.
You get sent home
Yes.
with immediate effect, or maybe
a
after a
month
few
or two.
months?
Yeah, a month or two.
You get sent home, but you can come back. I know people who went back after they gave birth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then these medicals, they continue. It's not something that
Yeah,
stops.
so you have to renew them. Yeah.
You have to renew them. I think it lasts
Depends
a
on
year
where
or
you're
2
from,
years,
a year
something
or
like
two.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then every 2 years you have to continue working on board. If anything changes, then you have to come back.
So now, how do you know the kind of doctors that you have to see for these medicals?
So
I guess when you have an agency is different because they will tell you.
Yeah.
Yeah. But if you don't,
Depends on the flag of the ship, because now you see certain ships are flagged in Bahamas, like Royal Caribbean.
Okay.
Certain ships are flagged in Norway, like our cruise line Viking that I work for, and so they have to get a certified doctor from that country. So wherever the ship is certified, that country doctor needs to do your medical. So it would be like a Norwegian certified doctor or something like this.
you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So with an agency, they will tell you no.
They will tell you Holland
The
America,
time-
where we work together, is a Dutch company.
They'll tell
So you would have
you.
to get a Dutch medical. So it's under
Yeah.
that flag, yeah.
It's a lot of things that you need to do to get on the ships. Also, what's the other training?
STCW, they call it
Like
the, rescue lifeboat
Yeah,
and
because
training.
when you're on the ship, they tell you your first job is safety before your actual job. So if the
Is it like
ship
being on a
sinks,
plane?
Yeah, it's like if the
Kind
ship
of,
had
but
to
you
stay.
get an actual function. You get a safety function. So you
Yeah.
have your primary function. So she's a beauty therapist, and then she'll have her secondary safety function, which is like stairway.
Like guiding
stairway
the
guide.
guests this way, please.
Yeah. So we do every week. There's a safety drill every 7 days.
All right. Oh,
And so we have to practice your safety
Yeah.
function. Yeah.
all
So everybody
right.
has. That's the interesting part. They
Okay.
always say if the ship was to drown, your first job is safety. You need
So I've seen a certain video, and this person was saying things they never tell you about on cruise ships. Okay, not the bad ones, Angela.
My husband still works on ships, okay? Let's keep it
Not
classy.
not the bad ones.
Okay.
But for example, a wind coming through, like as though there's a tsunami coming and all that. How do you go about that? So that's where you come in with the safety.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Have you
So-
experienced something like that? A wind blowing the chairs and everybody away.
We have
and-
experienced like rough seas. So
Yeah.
when
Like
the ship
seriously
is like
bad?
moving like up and down very
In
bad.
12 years, I've experienced it twice.
Yeah.
That it was bad enough. For
Okay, that's
something not
good.
to be
That's
able to
promising.
So
sit.
he's used to it because he's been there longer. But I've experienced it a lot of times. And I was always like, you don't get, like eventually you get
So
used
Her,
to
her
it.
rough sea and my rough sea are two different things, by the way.
I guess so. I guess so. So you were saying you don't do what?
With the ship.
Yeah.
Well, with working on board, the thing is, there are things you'll never be prepared for. You will always know when you are on the ship. You know, like anything can happen. There could be a emergency drill, fire drill, and they always keep these things far away from the guests.
Yeah.
So we will know there's like secret codes that they use to say,
Yeah, if there's
okay,
if there's a
there's
death on
somebody who
board.
has a heart attack.
Yeah,
Who-
there's a-
only us will know, but the rest of the guests, they won't know what that
They
is.
shouldn't be alarmed.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that they don't panic.
All right.
yeah.
Let's take a break and then come back. Family, I am with the Josephs, Josephs Peters, and we are talking about opportunities that are out there, not only just to go study and go work. There's more out there. We are finding out more about working on a ship. You get a question, the lines are open. 012-334-1322 is the line that you can dial. And Gesels met ons in the studio. You can also send us an SMS on 37871, 37871. And our WhatsApp line 082 657 2729. Those are the sounds of Divine Music featuring Mahalia Buchanan. God Can. 29 minutes it is, just after 10 on Radio Pulpit, your daily companion.
Going through a trial, season of dryness, a storm's wreaking havoc. You ask yourself.
Get ready for a hot, humid summer. But I'll have to tune you. I can't handle the humidity. Makes me feel so hot and uncomfortable, man. I mean, I even sweat in the shower. I have to change my clothes.
To skip the moaning, just say skip now. Okay, skipping to the KIF stuff.
It's summer! Time to do the things you smack. Download the MTN app today and skip to the KIF stuff with MTN.
Skipped a program? No problem. Download our podcasts anytime, any day. Visit radiopulpit.co.za.
You're on Radio Pulpit, your daily companion, 657 AM. This is where you at. I am talking to the daughter of our very own Muruti Tataya Onaseleka. She's in the studio with me and her husband. So we are catching up. We are learning from them as well. And we're saying the sky is the limit. Actually, it's not even the limit. There's no limit. There are no limits. You can soar. You can fly high. Give you the sounds of the True Vine, or the Vine music, featuring Mahalia Buchanan. God Can. And it's 24 minutes just before 11. Do remember at 11 o'clock you have Germany, Yanni Bolso with Perspective. And afterwards, Ayanda Ninemba comes through with Heart to Heart from 12 tot 3 uur. But right now, we're still learning, and I'm hoping that you have some young people who are tuned in and getting inspired and getting encouraged. And also as parents, you are getting encouraged. Cookie says, good morning, my dear queen, and to the awesome couple. Yeah, you should see them, Cookie. They look so beautiful together. And I see they're still on honeymoon, and I think it will continue to be honeymoon. Yeah.
It's a nice thing about leaving to go on the ship.
Yeah.
For a few months and coming back. It's like, seeing each other after a long time.
Yeah. But I'm glad to see you together today. Cookie says, thank you for sharing and being so encouraging about your journeys. God bless you both. May you go from strength to strength. So she's so grateful that you're opening up about your journeys on the cruise ship, and we are learning from you, because parents are afraid of this. Most of the parents are afraid. They're like, no.
You need to send your kids out there.
No.
You need to send them out there.
There's more out
Get an
there.
opportunity. Travel will teach you things that no university or no educational institution will
So
ever
you
teach
become more open-minded.
become
open-minded.
very
You learn
open-minded.
different cultures. You learn about different places and things. And
Did you experience some culture shocks along the way?
you get it. But then after years, you realize that everybody's the same.
Everybody is the same.
Yeah.
Tani Joey Kleinhans de Beer, thank you so much. Is it Tani or is it one of our queens? Thank you so much. I did on Facebook and they look simply amazing. She checked you out on Facebook.
Oh, nice.
And they are so amazing. But now,
so much.
you, at the end of it all, you left the ship, the cruiser ship. And
Yes, so
you
for
started
me-
something else
Yeah,
on the
for
side.
me, what happened, I had to come back home because I had an injury. I had
Okay.
finished my contract and I had an injury, so I was medically disembarked. So I was sent home because I was not okay. And unfortunately, I had to stay home for a year. But during that year, that's when I opened my business. And I had all these clients from my previous work saying, "Oh, can you please give me a massage?"
From the ships.
No, from home.
Oh, okay.
So one thing I always do, I always keep contact wherever I go, job to job. So I had this lady who was from my first job, and she's like, "I can see you back home. Can you come and give me a massage, a facial?" And that's how I started my business at her spa. I started my business at home, and that time I had just came back and I was just starting from scratch in my mother's house, my parents' house. And that's how I started my company. I worked from home for like 2 years. Then I moved to my place. Then I started doing house calls. And then from doing
Isn't
house
that scary?
it is. From doing house calls, I had to build up But my husband, well, we reconnected after, and then when we reconnected, that's when he was like, "Why don't you just go big? Like, go big." And I was so scared because I was so small-minded. He's like, "Girl, you worked over the seas. You can do this." And that's when I
traveled to the world. You can do this.
So I opened my dream spa at her spa, and it was just a dream come true. And when I opened, I didn't know what I was doing in the beginning, but luckily for me, with all the experience that I had, I took all those things and I applied it into my business.
When are you at a risk take?
She's a risk taker. She got a 100 square foot meter place and said, "Okay, just do it."
Yeah.
I wasn't here, but she did it. Yeah.
So I took the risk. It was a scary one, but fortunately for me, I was able to portray. I always wanted people to look at my business is Her Spa. So I wanted people to look at my brand but not think there's a girl, because when people see me, they see the little girl.
Wait. What comes most of the times when you're talking about a spa?
Yes.
A beauty spa. And you're a massage therapist.
Yes, but
people confuse it to a masseuse.
Yeah.
And especially when you do house calls. How did you manage that?
Okay, when
because the two are not the same. A masseuse and a massage therapist
so my
are not the
dream,
same.
I've always wanted to focus more on skin, but when I started, because I didn't have everything, I focused more on massages. So being a massage therapist, it's basically you work with muscles. You learn the body, you learn the muscles, the nerves. You know what causes people pain.
The spasms.
And honestly, it's just how you present yourself. For example, what makes me different from other companies, other spas, it's simple thing like a consultation. Before we start, I'm not just going to say, "Okay, lie there. Let me
just go in there."
No.
The name helps. The name helps. Her spa.
But also like professionally, you know.
So I was always like, okay, so you're only going to work with females. I like it. It works for me.
You never worked with any man?
Well, in the beginning,
it helped him to be at ease.
Kept him at ease.
Especially with the house calls, I believe.
Yeah, with the house calls, I only focused on women. But once we got our own location at Her Spa, then I decided, you know what, everybody's welcome.
Yeah.
That's how the name Her Spa came, because we're targeting
if
her.
I'm a guy, I go to get a massage at Her Spa. So.
But weren't you worried that maybe sometimes you might have to travel at night?
She did for a while, but I think she
massage somebody at night.
She has enough experience, to be careful.
Yeah. She has done it on the ship before.
Yeah, there was a lot of safety precautions that I had to take. For example, if you want to go massage at somebody's house, always make the person pay before you go.
Yeah.
And honestly, just doing that saved me a lot of scams, because scammers are not going to pay before you go to their house. So that helped me a lot to protect myself and my team, because I had a team of 6.
So you only start the car once the money clocks in?
Yes, once the money's in, that's the only time it's a booking.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so that helped me a lot to keep me safe.
Yeah.
But if I'm driving at night, obviously I'll take somebody with me, to go to people's houses just to be sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So what are some of the challenges and some of the highlights of the kind of job that you do?
So owning a spa, so I have 6 people working for me, and with owning a spa comes a lot of responsibility. Your job becomes you managing problems, It's always, what do they call it? Switching off fires.
Operational challenges.
Yeah, so your job becomes a professional problem solver. Like, that's what you do. And you have to deal with unhappy clients. You have to deal with therapists, making sure that they're delivering the standard. But like I said, one thing for me, I always ran my business like I have a board of directors that I have to report to.
Yeah.
Because I wanted people
but
when
you
they
have
come in.
You have a board of
Well,
directors.
I want board, yeah. Yeah, but I always wanted.
I'm the numbers person.
Yeah.
So she gets nervous when it comes to.
Yeah, I always wanted people to come into my business and not think, oh, it's just this little girl who owns this.
Yeah.
Because our people are very judgmental. So I ran my business like I have a lot of people that I have to report to. And I never tell people that I'm the boss, because I just wanted them to come into this operation and it must just flow into it, you know. They come in, they settle in, they get attended. So I had a system with my team. Like I had a whole system of how to run the business. Everybody had a task, you know, so that it relieved a lot of stress for me.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm very happy that I trained people to also become good at what they do, because right now I focus more on coaching as well, because that's one thing that I'm good at. You know?
I think it's her calling. But,
It's her calling. And your highlights, Joseph,
your
Mr.
highlights. Yeah.
Your highlights of working on the ship?
Well, you know, it's a...
Because you're still there.
Yeah,
He's
it's
still
a
working on
journey.
ships. Yeah, he's still
It's a
working on
journey.
ships.
It's a big team. I have 120 people that I lead on the ship in
Wow.
the kitchen. It's a big operation. This is a 900 passenger
So,
ship.
so which chef are you? The sous
I'm
chef?
executive
The okay.
He's the
So what's the
boss.
difference?
He's
What's
the
the
top
difference? We have the
boss.
sous chef. We
Difference
have
is that
the
I'm responsible for everything.
you.
Yeah.
So
if-
everybody reports to you.
Yes.
Oh,
So
right.
ultimately, I do take leadership for all of the operations as far as culinary goes on board. But it's a journey. I started off as a chef de partie, which is a mid-management level.
Yeah.
And so over the 12 years, I worked up maybe 6 rankings, I think 6 or 7. So the highlights are learning as a leader, because the bigger the team you have, the more diverse team you have. We have upwards of 40 different nationalities working for us. So you have people from all over the
Whoa.
world.
Yeah.
And so
So you
dealing
have to
with,
know all these dishes as the
international
executive chef.
dishes, you need to know a lot,
everything.
but more so dealing with different backgrounds and different people, and attitudes and so on and everything. So it's
So-
all about bringing the best potential out of your team.
Are we going to see you opening a restaurant or somewhere? I don't know, in South Africa
It
or
might happen. It might
in,
happen somewhere
in
down
Canada
the line.
or where?
It might happen somewhere down the line. I was growing up. I was always inspired to be a Michelin star chef and so on. Open my own restaurant and things. But as you grow, you mature.
Yeah.
Your goals change. Your direction changes. So
Yeah.
I'm leaving the culinary department very, very soon.
Okay.
Actually, I'm growing in the hotel department. So what I wanted to do is grow in leadership. So I'm going to be getting into a senior position as an associate general manager, and then maybe even go further than that. Let's see.
Wow. So for how long can a person work on a ship?
Forever.
As long as you
what?
can, as long as you're
As long as
healthy
you're
enough to.
As long
It
as
doesn't
you're-
matter how old you are.
It really doesn't. I mean, in the senior positions, we have people upwards to 50, 60 years old. But those are, in senior management. But I'm not planning to stay there for
Until you get to 50,
Yeah,
Oh, I
60.
need my man. I need my man.
maybe another 5 to 8 years. Make it up to the top.
I think we should, whilst he's still around, we
Yeah.
need to share about how you met as well and the journey as well. But what do we say to those who are aspiring to work in these spaces? How do we encourage them further?
Follow your passion. It's as simple as that. Follow your passion. Do not go after monetary things right now, especially.
Oh,
coming out of,
money should be.
It shouldn't.
Last.
Yeah.
But I understand there's a lot of money there.
You can make it, and the reason why you make it is because your expenses are very, very less. You don't have rental expenses. You don't have medical bills. You don't have grocery bills and all of these things.
So the only bill you have is what? The telephone when you're calling home?
Yeah, you
Yeah,
buy,
data. Calling your wife.
you buy snacks
Data.
or you go to the crew bar or something. But again, you can't even spend a lot,
Yeah.
even if you try. But that's where you get to save a lot. But you really shouldn't look at that. You shouldn't look at the money. You
You
should
must follow your passion.
follow your passion. Because the beginning positions, they don't make a lot of money. You going as a assistant housekeeper, or you
But
going
coming
as a,
from South Africa, it's
assistant
good
cook.
money. Like what we
Okay,
did, it's
yeah.
good money for us. Like if you're in the beauty industry.
Because it's the rent against the dollars.
Yes, you're
Okay.
converting, so you can make some ching ching for yourself.
In South Africa.
In South Africa, you
Yeah.
can live like a king if you're working on ships.
Even when you, on entry level.
Like even, I mean, when I was
it's
there,
decent. It's
Yeah.
decent, but
You can get a decent job, something that I would like in the beauty industry back home. People are earning between 5,000 to 15,000. On the ships, you can make 30,000 to 50,000.
So you can save the other 15.
Yeah, so you can even save 80% of your salary because you don't pay.
She was very good
bills.
at commissions. She was
Yeah.
very good at.
Baby, but I was good with my salary.
And you saved.
I saved. I
Yeah.
did a lot of saving and
Yeah.
spending and shopping.
So
Yeah.
your last words, Angela?
My last words to the youth is that follow your heart, pray. Everything that I have prayed for. Every single thing that I have today, I prayed for. I believed God could do it. Even my husband, I prayed 15 years to be married to this man.
Yeah.
15 years, year in, year out. So
Yeah.
anything is possible if you include God in your plans.
You have
and-
to come and share that journey anyway.
Don't need
Yeah.
to be told.
Before
Yeah.
he leaves.
Yes,
Yeah.
because everything that you want, you can achieve it. But if you don't include God in your plans, your creator, then, you never know how long it will take to get where you want. But at the same time, do not focus on what people will say. We come from a place like in South Africa, communities where people are very negative. Even me, when I was building my business, I had to distance myself from certain places and groups because every single time you'll be hearing, no, why do you think you can do this? It can't be done. So what I'll say is personal development. That's the biggest thing I always advise people in business. Wake up every morning and work on yourself. Your business is dependent on you. So if you're not okay, the business is not okay. So personal development, work on yourself, trust in the Lord, trust the process, and yeah.
Where do we find you? Where do we...
Okay, for me and my husband, we are on TikTok at Love JPs. That's our page, TikTok and Instagram. My personal page is Her Boss Babe. So I also do coaching. I help people who's struggling with their businesses. That's what I focus
She's
on now.
following her calling.
Yeah, she is.
So yeah, so that's where you can find us at Love JPs and at Her Boss Babe.
Your closing statements, Joseph?
For the youth, take it step by step. Don't
One step at a time.
One step at a time. Don't expect too much too fast because we live in a world now where everything is so fast paced, and you come out of college or you come out of school and you want it all. That's not how real life works. Take it step by step. Put your work in. Keep your determination, and you'll definitely get there.
All right. I'm hoping to have you again in studio where you will be sharing your journey with us before he goes.
Thank you. Thank you.
And the prayers and everything. But we thank God for you guys. May He keep growing you. Yes, I love giving family members the scripture, which I'm also going to give unto you. And I know that you are influencers without you trying to influence anyone anyway, but God has put you in that space as ambassadors. And so keep flying the flag of Jesus Christ. And I'm giving you the book of Numbers 6:24. It says, "The Lord bless you and keep you. The Lord make his face shine upon you and be gracious to you. The Lord lift up his countenance upon you and give you peace." And I also add and say, may he give you good success in all that you do. Thank you so much for gracing us, for visiting us today and encouraging our young people.
Thank you.
So young people, the sky is not even the limit. You can do it all. Do remember, you can do all things through Christ who strengthens you. I am signing out, leaving you with the sounds of Mabongi Mabaso featuring Kayam Tetwa. We Worship Anthem is the song. And next up is Germany, Johan Else with something, actually not Johan Else, but Germany, Yanni Pelsa with Perspective. And he always has some interesting topics to discuss, so you don't want to miss it. Bye-bye.